So I managed to pick up a ring pull, so I've chosen a silver one, and I'll get some silver charms to add on the side. And I finished prepping that, so all taped up. Ooh, I've just thought of something. Ooh, I was gonna add some string as well. Okay, doesn't matter. So just going to pop this down. Right. So there, it's ready. I can add some other bits and pieces later. So we are on page number 4. So page number 4 I set aside for the karoo. And now some of these pages I'm going to just do the same. I'm not going to alter each one. And also I'm going to alternate, well, not necessarily alternate, but set aside different, just different ways of setting these out. So what I was thinking of is popping, and if you need more space than what I'm giving you, you obviously can then just score, and then you can flap, so you can add the extra photos. Let's do that just to show you. Okay, so coming in from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm just scoring half an inch in. Remember that I've also got this flap. Okey-dokes. So basically all I did is I prepped every single page, so it should go relatively quickly now. 9 1/8 by 9 1/8 square. And I'm going to add this one. I wonder if I should add that side or this side. I'm actually going to add it this side, which means everything is upside down. Doesn't matter because we're going to cover it. Okay, so I'll pop that down there. So if you were not needing the extra space, you would just stick this flat, but if you need the extra space, we've then got space for extra photo mats. Now on this one, okay, that's going to create a little bit of an issue. So if you were flapping it, you would have to trim, probably maybe take it down to 9 inches. It's not a lot that you have to cut off, about an 1/8 inch. That should do it. Yep, that will do it. Don't forget to come in with your distress tool that I'd already done all the distressing. Okay, and then what I thought of doing on this one was sticking it. No idea why it's giving me grief. Okay, we're going to come in over there. So let's flip it like so, and let's score this one as well so we can see the entire photo. So I want it to flap that way, so 1, 2, 3, 4, half an inch. before you stick this one down, it would be quite nice to come in with, let's see if you can even see it, a little strippy. So it could be that. I've got all these leftovers, these offcuts. It could be a brown. This is the Karoo. Let's use this brownie color. And it's like 2 1/8. There it is there. That's going to fit on, and then we're going to cut it to 9 1/8. I think I want to keep the orangey side. And we're just going to do the okay, we're going to add that there. Let's stick it down with okay, shall we stack that one down? And then this one we're going to stick on here. Had to break for my Take-A-Lot order. So if you're international, Take-A-Lot is like a version of a South African version of Amazon. I don't think it's as efficient, but works. Right, so we've got that one. You can then put a photo there. You can add photos going off here. We can decorate that later, and we still have all that space for photos. Okay, Karoo. So that's that side done. This side, you can. I'm going to stick flat, or should I? No, we've got this. So we have stuck this one on the outer edge. So let's do the same with this one. We're going to score 1, 2, 3, 4. This one we are going to score I think on the opposite side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, actually don't think I'm just going to stick it flat, which could be a small problem because when it flaps, okay, what I am going to do is I'm very carefully going to cut off on this one. I'm going to cut off a 1/2 inch on either side. Okay. I'm just going to check that it's going to fit there. Yes. And then I'm going to, sorry, I've already done that. Okay, so this one we're adding tape. And this one we are going to score. We're going to turn it into a belly band. So 1/2 inch down there. 1, 2, 3, and 1/2 inch there. So because I have distressed this, there is a teeny little sliver of tape sticking out, which I just want to clear off. Okay. This I'm going to pop on this side like so. Okay, so that opens like that. This one I'm going to pop, I'm going to use my 10mm tape because I've already distressed. I'm going to pop ooh, got a phone call coming through. Let me just pull. Alright, so we've taped up the top. I'm going to tape. So this is the right side. So we're taping on the right side because this is the side we want to see. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is just from the score line, we're going to do a small one of those. So it's just a little marker. Okay, now this is where the fun and games has to happen. So we've got our fold over here. So if you're putting in the fold because you need space for extra photos, and we have now made a belly band where we can pop things in. So if you have that fold, you can still use it and you can have photos underneath. You also can have a space now to put either a, let's just use this piece of bread. So you can also put something in all the way through, or it can be something smaller and it can just fold over and you can use the photo, the space for the photo. And there, so that's Karoo done. What page are we on now? I'm so bad, as I took all the page numbers off. Okay, so we've got page, oh, I sorted this out earlier. So what I thought of doing, let's just come back quickly to page 1 so we don't lose these things, is we are going to just do the bottom. It's always hard to do this one. The Chiswick one actually works better on small stuff. Okay, so we're going to do okay, just make sure you haven't closed it. Then we're going to have a little sticky that goes in the middle. So this one we're going to do the outer side. And the bottom. Let's just measure. It's just over 1/2 inch. So I've already cut this down to fit. Struggling with this one. hoping that I've cut that so it's big enough. Let's have a look. I think that's pretty perfect. I wonder if we should have that side up. Kind of like that. I'm going to do that side up. So you can choose whichever, and you can use whichever piece of card is available. Cool. Okay, so that one's stuck down, so that's page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, and we're on to page 6. So page 6 I did, and 7 I did as the Kruger. Okay, so I've prepped all of these, and I've also got base pages and stuff prepped. So you've got options here. Normally if you go to the Kruger you have way too many photos, so you can put this flat or you can score it. So the back of it has got a photo of Africa, but by the time you put page mats you're not going to see much of it. So this one I cut 2 9 1/8 by 9 1/8, which I've done for pretty much all my base pages. Okay, so it can open. Have I just stuck it so crooked as I did it? It didn't stick down and then it moved. How clever am I? Okay, so let's line it up again and make sure this time that I stick it down before. Okay, and then I had this page which I thought I would score. So on this left hand side I like the orange piece, so I'm turning it so the orange side is up. I'm going to score at 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to score at 9 1/8. Okay, so this is going to go over that. And we're not too stressed about what's on the back here because it's, I don't know what this flower is, a little magnolia, I don't know. So you can either put it there or you can pop it this side so that when you open it you have this like really extended piece, or you can have it like a booklet. So let's do this one as an extended piece, like so. So it's exactly the same size as the one underneath. Okay, so that will open like so. I need to just put it over. Let's see, we've got this long page so you can put all your Kruger photos, your 5 million photos of the leopard and the lion and the cheetah. We could also pull this over if you wanted to, but you're not going to see much of it. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to flip it over Okay, and using my pencil I'm just going to mark there and there, and I'm going to take my thin tape or my glue and I'm going to create this pockets. At the end I will probably come back and put a page mat, some page mats over that, so you won't really see it. But it just gives you a nice tuck spot to tuck all your bits and pieces into. Okay, so coming in here, okay, so you've now got that flaps and you've got a pocket. Just stick this down properly. That flaps and you've got a pocket. You can then flap it open that way, so you've got space for photos there, and you've also got space for photos underneath. If you don't need all of those, you can stick some of them flat. This, remember, we're just going to stick some page mats there, probably a brown page mat and a brown page mat and maybe a strip of paper, and we'll hide those because we're going to use that on this side. So let's just stick this one. Should we stick this one's flat? No, let's also flap it. So we're going to come in on this side, we're going to score at 8 and 5/8, and that's going to be there, and we're going to make this a mirror image of that page. So I want to score at 11 and a half, and I want to score at, if I remember correctly, it was 2 and 7/8. Let's hope my maths is good. Okay, so we're going to flap this one. It should fit. Oh, my bets, my maths, look at that. Okay, so this one is going to be stuck down. We need to make sure we've got this one stuck the correct way. Okay. So if you're doing an album and you've only been to 1 or 2 of these places, you won't need a million things like I'm doing here. So then you just put in what you need and you have just plain pages. Okay. Opens that way. This one is going to open. Let's make this one open the same side. Shall we? Or should we have it this way? I don't. Actually, let's do something totally different on this one. So let's create a pocket on this side, which we're going to anchor there like so. Let's turn this one over. I like to do different stuff. And let's create, oopsie, we're going to add this one here, all the details. Why won't that work? Oh, I know why, because okay, so it's not going to work. Will it work if I do it this way? If I keep it flat? Sorry, I'm just trying to make things a little bit more interesting for you. Okay, so let's just stick it down this way, so it's a little bit different. fold that one inside. We're going to take this one only thing with this is it's hard to see where the fold is. So we've got that one going now. I wanted to do this differently. Let's turn this one into a pocket. I'm trying to give you as many options as, shall we? No, I'm going to use some acetate here. We've already got this Kruger one, so let's just... So weird, because I would plan this and I'm going to do it one way, and then I come to actually do it, and then I'm like, no, I don't want to do it that way now. So silly. We've got that, and then maybe we should put a little piece of acetate. I had some out. Where did I put it? We can put a piece of acetate so that we can add some extra photos. Okay, I've lost my acetate. Just going to pause the video so I can find it. If I can find the... Oh gosh, between the acetate and the mouse. So I found the piece of acetate. It was sitting on my desk here. This is the offcut from this page here where we made that acetate belly band. So we are going to attach it on the top like so. We're just going to use some regular tape. I think also when you're designing an album and you're doing it kind of in your head and you think, okay, that's going to look good, and then once you start doing it and you start sticking, other ideas come to mind, so you kind of change as you go. Right, so I'm lining it up. So I was desperate to get this one because I love this piece of paper with a, it's almost like sunsetty. And if you just take your bone folder and just put it down. Okay, so Kruger page opens on this side. We've got a pocket. We've just got to make sure that this is stuck. Then we've got space for photos, and we've got space for photos. On this side, I'm just hoping we don't have a problem here with closing. We might have needed to make this a little bit smaller, so 9 inches rather than the 9 1/8 width-wise. This one we've got the acetate page, so we can put photos front and back. We've got our summary, and then again we can open. Oops. Okay, so we got a small hiccup there, so I must just check because I don't have a score line there. So I either need to make this a bit shorter, so cut a bit off and move it over so that it can fold, and then we've got that going that way. So we do have a small hiccup. Okay, so we need to trim off. I don't know if I can lift this. I've used the thin tape and I don't know, it's not sticking as well, but that's in my favor. Let's just get it off. It's stuck on the top, but hadn't stuck on the bottom. Ooh. Oh, I just defaced my piece of paper. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm more worried about that piece than this piece, because this we're going to be using the other side anyway. Okay, so let's just take off that side. So I've eyeballed it, but you need to take off at least 1/2 inch. Okay, and before yeah, that will work, because then we can fold it. So let's go back to the drawing board. Let's add some glue. Thankfully the paper is quite busy at the top there. There we go. Okay, so we now will be able to open that up, and this is in the right place. My worry is that the paper is a bit big for here, and that's where we're going to have our issue. Okay, now what I did was, because I live in Durban and I don't like going to Gauteng, is I put these two on the same page. So don't know if I'm going to, what did I do here? Didn't cut this very well, did I? Look at the size. That's a bit silly of me. So I clearly was not reading the measurements correctly. So I'm going to take this down to 9 1/8 of an inch. Oh, I kind of know why I did it now. I was going to flap it. Okay. Alright, so if you need to add extra photos, if you've got lots of photos, you are going to flap this one as well. I'm going to flap this one from the center. This may have been better having these thicker ones where we've got the space. So if you know what I mean, maybe switching these around. For goodness sakes. So I'm thinking that 9 inches would actually be better. So 9 1/8 by 9 inches, just to give yourself this gap in the middle. Okay, then possibly popping the Gauteng. And again, I'm going to just trim a smidgen off this one. I'm going to flap this one from the left. And this one you could cut out if you wanted to and just raise it on top. I think that's enough photos for crafting. You could also just trim it down and stick it flat, which could also be an option because you've already got the out trip on that side. So I'm going to just leave that there for now. Going on to the Durban option, and I have got 2 flaps, which I'm not sure I actually need. So I'm actually going to, I'm thinking of making it so that it forms into a pockety thing. I'm going to just pause the video and think. Okay, got myself towards myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this side into a pocket. Okay, so I'm going to seal off this piece over here. Okay, so that's sealed on there. Now, I hope it's sealed. I'm going to take the smaller tape and then I'm going to add this directly on top, like so. Remember, you can change these around and use whichever one to do this. This is just giving you ideas of how to get your album together. Right, so we've now created, I just want to make sure that this is stuck. We've now created a pocket to slip bits and pieces into. If you want to, you can make a you can measure. I'm not measuring. Okay, so that you know that there's a little pocket there. Right, and then we've got, for the rest of it, we have got either the blue or the green. So just using my pencil, use the join there. So I want something, I want to put it at score line, which is right on the 9-inch. Okay, so that's going to give us, let's just stick it. You can also just stick, so where the fold is, and directly next to that one. And what that will do is it will give you a tuck spot where you can tuck bits and pieces in. So it's not an actual pocket, it's just a space for tucking. So we've got that with the tuck spot behind it, and then I did have another piece as well that I had thought of adding to this, but for now I'm thinking I'm just going to leave it. I'll decide later if I want it or don't want it. Okay, so we've got that, and we've got that. We could also just tuck that in and have that as some sort of closure with a magnetic closure or something. Okay, so that's, what are we on? 6, 7, 8, 9. So the Krug, the Drakensberg, I also thought that you'd have loads of photos. So we would then 8, 9. This is 10 and 11. So we'd do something similar to how we've done the Kruger. So when I mean something similar, you would have space to put loads of photos in. So the idea was to score it at half and 9, and in fact I'm going to 9 on this one. Let's see if we can get this one to work better. And on this one we are going to a half, and we are going to 3. Okay. So it's just making it a little bit shorter. Right. We got this really pretty wood grain inside as well, which would be a great backdrop for photos of Berg. So I think for the Kruger we added in an extra page. I'm not going to add in any extra pages here. Made it a bit crooked as I stuck it down. I felt it move. Okay. Because we've cut this slightly shorter, we've got to be quite careful. We're going to have to score 1, 2, 3, 4 on that side of that one, and half an inch on this side. Okay, so we've got that where we can add page mats. Just remember you would need to open that. You've also got this little flappy thing where you could add a pocket or just photos, and then I've done exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to keep these pieces so that you can decorate and add page mats. Then finally, this album is quite thick, look. It's nice and thick and nice and chunky. Finally, we're going on to the back page. Honestly, I would only add, so if you don't need all of these pages and you don't need all of these flaps, I would take them off. You could also just take this flap off and have flapping sort of that way. You could also flap this so that it sat on top. So take this one and put it this side, and this one put it that side. Okay. Just trying to think of ways to give you the most space. Okay. So this Free State one, I'm going to cut it to 9 inches. Like so. It's going to be stuck there. This one, I'm not going to throw it away, I'm going to stick it over there like so, and I'm going to then flap, maybe pockets like so, and that's quite a few pages for the phrase starts. So we haven't really done any where we've stuck it flat. I don't really love making albums with this thick kraft. It's just very, very bulky. I prefer to use a slightly thinner grammage. Turn it into a pocket, so we're going to add tape. I'm going to line that up on this side. So I've just turned it upside down so I can get a mark. Okay, and then what I thought of doing with this one, we haven't got heaps of space here, but what I thought of doing this is use this on the back. And we need a piece of paper. So we're just going to cut this one to 9 3/4 by, let's do it 9 5/8 by 9 5/8. Probably should have tried it first to see if it works. And if you need more space, you can flap them. I've shown you how to do that. And there is our album, the base of our album complete. We've got nothing on the back, it's fine. We've got kraft in the back. Let's just go through it quickly. Just pick up all the nonsense on my desk, make it a little neater. Okay, opening up, we have got a pocket for all our planning, and we have got a piece of acetate to plot our trip. Page 1, we've just got a pocket, maybe to continue with our planning. Page 2, we have the acetate so that we can put a photo underneath there and change it out, and a space to keep the photos. Page 3, we have some pages where we can add, here we can add, I'll go and do all that shortly. Page 4, sorry, page 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. You've got a lot of space to add photos with flaps and stuff. I would definitely, oh, this one I made a pocket on the side. I would definitely take this down to 9 inches rather than 9 1/8. Then our Kruger National pages, we have got quite a lot. We've got pages that open, pockets, open and open, so we've got loads of space for photos. This side we've got a little acetate as well, space for our fun facts, and we have a belly band. Okay, so loads of photos for that one. Then we've got Gauteng, and we've got our summary, and we've got a flap. I thought of just taking this one and sticking it down in here flat, but we'll see. Then we have Durban, where our KZN coast, and we have a pocket, and we have a flap, and we've got a tuck spot, and we've still got a piece of this that we can use. And then we have the Drakensberg, so again we need more space. These flaps are really nice to stick big photo mats on, and the same on this side. Onto the Free State, and we have a pocket, space for our photos. This obviously we're going to put photo mats on, and the back page. So we have a complete album, base album, now to decorate it.